Okay, so one of the things we're working on here, and I'm using Autodesk Inventor, is I'm designing some fluorescent light fixtures to go inside of my my roundhouse. And so here's kind of the start. And I'm going to print one of these up so you can kind of take a look at it to see what they're kind of like. I need to come back in and actually put some skirts on it to make it a little more, but that's basically getting so I can fit the LED. Make sure we've got a good fit, and then I'll come back and finish it up. But pretty easy. Took about 15 minutes. Good program, pretty easy to work with. But that's one of the things that I'm working on right now. Here's another example. This is an HO scale tank car body in 3D. Probably not going to print this one up, but just an example of the types of things you can do and the detail you can get down to on these things. I have a few more we'll show you. Here's a shipping container, 40-foot shipping container. And again, some pretty good detail. I don't know how well you can see the back hatches there or the doors, but again, fairly easy model to complete and print. And I'm going to show you one way to print, but there's a lot of online services that really do a good job for inexpensive, or relatively. They're not terribly expensive, especially if you're making one-off or you're looking to make molds or something like that. It's a pretty good way to go. So there you go. Okay, this is one of the projects I'm working on for layout now. It's the Roundhouse, and as you can see, I've used the addition and have gone ahead and added the extra bays. I've got the concrete stained. I don't know how well it's coming out, but I've kind of got it weathered to kind of give it some texture and make it look like there's something been going on these floors. Slowly getting the walls together. I'm going to start weathering those and do some of the basic stuff to them before I glue them all together, and then I'll finish them up once they're in place. So coming together nicely. Turntable's ordered, so this is one of the main centerpieces for the layout, so I'm kind of holding off until that gets here. And as I said in my first update, a lot of the buildings and industries I'm going to actually put in before I establish where that track's going to go. I'm going to do the mains, but a lot of the feeders in the yard and that kind of thing is going to wait until I get a lot of these put together and I know whereabouts are going to be. Some of the other things that I've been working on, I've done some 3D printing, and I want to put some shop lights inside the shop. And originally designed, and this is a bit over, I printed this over scale so it's easy to see, but a fluorescent light that I printed out on a 3D printer. And I liked it. I think it needs a couple things on it. Probably needs some of the wings put on it so it has a little more depth on the reflector, but I still may use something like this. But then I decided I was going to go with the kind of the shop light, the old style shop light, and based on some pictures I saw of the Sacramento shops, and I'm using the 3 millimeter pre-wired lights, and that's kind of a mock-up of what it's going to be like. I've got some heat shrink tube coming in gray that I'm going to wrap these wires in and shrink it down and actually try and simulate conduit with the shrink wrap. So we'll see. But I fairly good detail all the way down. I made them in 3 different sizes or 4 different sizes as you can see. And this is kind of how they print out on the come off the printer, and they just pop loose and off of the base, and you clean them up a little bit, and they're fairly good. So I've got everything down from a 1 foot diameter up to the largest I saw that you could get in a shop was 36 inches. So kind of got some variation. So we'll play with that and see how it works. Some other things I printed. I printed a flat car. As you can see, the detail is fairly good. Actually, it's really good. It actually has the damaged edges for the wood on the side, so we'll paint it up, see how it goes. We'll try one, see how it works out. But just again, this is kind of an example just to show you what you can do with a 3D printer. As you can tell, it's not bad, and this is by no means the highest quality that you could print, but I think it's fairly good for prototype. Just an example, something else. This is a 5-inch gun turret off a Fletcher class destroyer that I made for another project, but I'm probably, as I said in my first video, support of naval operations is a lot what this railroad's about. So I'm sure that around the yard and on some of these flat cars, we're going to see some of these types of pieces sitting, waiting, for maintenance. So that's kind of what we've been working on with there. Got our power supply. Got this on eBay. It was $8 for a 12-volt 5-amp. According to the manufacturer, it was $8. According to the manufacturer, this will run a string of lights with one of the light strings with 300 lights on it. So we're going to give it a try and see. I'm buying the lights pre-wired, and this thing was no brains. Hook it up, fired it right up. For all of my electrical connections, I bought a lot of the computer cables. And the reason I like these is they're very heavy duty. They're wired to national code. The green's ground, black is live, and white's your neutral. And they're just a little bit more heavy duty. And if you get confused, it actually says what wire is which on the front here. And I think I got 25 for like $12. And so I think, you really can't beat that. When we talked about earlier, I have a drawer that I'm going to put all my power operations in, and because it's in a drawer, it can end up being a kind of a wire mess if I don't do something about it. So what I decided to use was I'm going to use these wire carriers, and you can get them in all different lengths and sizes and widths. I'm staying with a fairly small one because I'm going to actually have one of these designated for each power sector on the layout. And as you can see, they basically operate like tank tracks. They roll out and roll in, and I'll get them installed and show you exactly how they work. Again, relatively inexpensive, and kind of help keep everything organized and in my drawer, and I can pull it in and out without having a big mass tangle of wires or having a big loop of wires hanging underneath. So I highly recommend them if you're thinking about doing something like that or having to pull out a centralized power station, and they actually will connect together, and you can put 4 together, 6 together, or whatever you want. So they're kind of handy, and I'll get them installed and give you a look at them so you can see how they work, and we'll move on from there. So we'll get that done and get back to you. So I finished installing the track, and you can see it down in this area here. So now when the drawer comes out, I won't have a mess of wires. It actually kind of pulls out and follows. And you can pull the drawer out pretty much all the way and do what you have to do as far as any adjustments to any of the power functions. And when you're done, slide it right back in, and everything stays up neat and out of the way. So I've got to order a couple more of these. I'm going to have actually 5 of those going out, and each one will go to a separate power station as this thing kind of finishes being built out.